Are we taking? I'm sorry. Count me down. Okay, wait. So, what? Okay. Okay. So, hey, Dad, if you're going to watch this, I hope you do. This is my friend's channel called Anita. Anyway, so I was told to think of what it is you've done for me that you don't think I remember, and there's so many. And the first thing that came to mind was I shop at Yaya Center a lot, and when we were younger, you take us to Yaya, and you were just, I think it didn't mean much to you. You were just taking us so that you can meet your friends and we can play on that car swing. There were these ponies and toy cars for 5 bob. I remember it was 5 bob, and we'd go for hours on end, and it was the best. And we'd use the escalator, and we'd feel like we're in London. My Sharadan. And we would have such a blast. I remember you taking me to school. The very first day I cried in class 1, and you told me it's going to be fine, and you'll buy me a lollipop. You didn't buy it for me. Cut! Anyway, so I can now buy myself a lollipop. I'm kidding. But thank you so much for being such a sweet dad. You know, we have so many things that happen within our family that, of course, me and you understand. And somehow we tread through. And, you know, with the rest of the family being all or like any other dynamic of any other family in the world, we've had such a strong dad, you know, to guide us, to lead us, to be the man of the house. And there's so much I could say, but on a day like this, I just want to tell you I love you so very, very much. Thank you for being such an awesome dad. And Ateke? What shoe thing? Oh, snap! Listen, so, nikakumbuka, you remember when you used to come from work and then I would remove your shoes and your socks? And I would feel like I was such an intricate and very important part of your day, and if without me, you get home, who's gonna remove the shoes? I used to take it very seriously, by the way. I used to be like, Daddy's about to get home. I'm sorry, everything needs to stop. I'm about to remove shoes and take up a very important job. Remove your shoes and your socks. Without that, you're gonna sleep with your shoes. Who's gonna remove Dad's shoes? I'm not home. Anyway, so that was so cool. I'm so excited how now with my son Tumi, the things that when John comes home, he does, and it just reminds me of that. And I have to say thank you so much for that as well. And you know, you're bringing out the child in me once again, getting all giddy and excited, because to me you're the hero of my life. And of course it made me realize what type of man it is that I want to settle with, because I saw that in you, and that's why John has a lot to match up to. So thank you so much, and I love you so much. And if I am not reminded of anything else, happy Father's Day, Dad.
You may never get to see this, but I really hope you do. But my childhood was one of the best, based on what I know. I'm the last born, and you know, everyone else had grown up by the time I came. And you were my best friend. I remember you held the rope for me to skip. When we would do that, in a part, and I would put half the rope on a tree and the rest on your leg, and I would skip, and you would cheer me along, even when I would count 1 to 15, like when you do bubbly gun, and then you're counting 1, 2, 3, and I would jump and go away. You're still swinging the rope. I come back. Those are things I will remember, because coming from a very traditional background, it would be difficult to see a father and daughter engage and talk and have fun. But you cleared those traditional lines and just had time for me. I really appreciate that, because it has made me a strong person. It has made me learn how to treat even my husband now. I hope he appreciates, because sometimes he thinks it's too much when I do some things, which I saw Mom do for you. But I'm glad I'm here. I love you. I know probably this is the second time I have said this in the 20-something years, almost 30 in this world. But you understand that for us, love is expressed in different ways. And I'm looking forward to seeing you on Monday. Anyway, happy Father's Day. I love you, and I love you.
All right, so I could sit here and tell you about the things I remember. You putting your arm around me the first time I got my heart broken. You there giving me some money to take my first girlfriend out. You talking about sex and how to take care of myself. You telling me how much you love me. I'm supposed to think of things that you may not recall, or I may not think you recall, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna do something different. I'm gonna tell you what you mean to me, all right? I could sit here and say, the best dad in the world. I could sit here and tell you, you raised me perfectly. I don't have another dad. I just have you. I am the man I am because of what you did for me. It's that simple. I look at my son and I want him to have 30% of the father in me that I had in you. We've had our issues, we've had our fights. You've looked at me, never shouted at me, never shouted at my mother or my siblings. You always were calm and collected. And I never listened, or so I thought. But now, as I've grown up, I've realized that I've been listening throughout my entire life. And I'm not gonna sit there and tell you, CG, thanks for this, thanks for that. No, Dad. I'll say one thing. I'm not even thanking you, I'm thanking God. Because my God gave me a father on earth that represents the Father in heaven. So all I'm gonna say is, I love you, Dad, to death, to bits, always will, always tell you that. I'm not one of those guys who doesn't say it all the time. We've had our issues, you've had my back, and for me, you're not just a dad. You're a dad, you're a brother, you're a friend. Happy Father's Day. Love you.
I don't know the exact words to use to describe you, Daddy, but you're perfection to me. The way you love me, the way you love my sisters, and the way you love Mom. One of the most important things you've taught me is to love God, and that's like the most important thing a dad can teach a daughter. The fact that I don't have a brother or any other male in my life, it means that you've been everything to me, and because of that, I want to tell you that I love you so much. I'll never forget the first time you told me you loved me. That was in 2005. I was 16, yes, and you came to the school I went to, and you left a letter, and it was written, and 10 years later I still have it. And sometime when I'm having a really bad day, I just look at it and I remember the way it was written. Maggie, I love you very much. To me, that's enough, and I hope you make it to like 100 years and stuff, so that you can see me get married, see me graduate for my master's, see my babies, because I know you want those, and my life's mission has been to make you proud. The stories I write, I know you didn't go to school as much as I did, but the stories I write, I know you love to write, and I'm doing this for you, you and Mom. May God bless you, may He keep you, and I love you very much, and you're so different, and I look up to you every single day. Love you very much. Happy Father's Day.
Hi Daddy, Mr. Nderu, I love you so much, and I wanted to do this video so that I could tell you about the things I really don't think you think I remember. But and if I get teary, you know how I am. I cry all the time. For some reason, when I talk to you or about you, I just get tears and you don't get it. But I don't know, I get emotional about you. So now, you took me for my first ever ice cream date. That's what I call it. And we went to Eldo Center, and it was vanilla and strawberry, and I was so excited because I'd never eaten ice cream. Because remember, I used to have tonsillitis, and Mom was always like, you can't take anything cold. Then you took me to get ice cream, and then we never told her, thank you. And then you taught me how to ride the tricycle, which didn't really require much, training, but you still held it for me and took me around, even though there was no way I could fall off the bike. Then when I was in 7th grade, you remember the bike Kabege that you got for me? It wasn't even mine. It was the one that Sparky had, and then Koki had, and then all you did was paint it, and then you came to pick me from school after exams, and then you're like, I bought you a bike, Daddy. We both know. that might belong to Spaghetti Cookie as well. But you taught me how to write it, and then every single time I fell, oh my gosh, remember that thing, GV, that you loved putting on my knees? Every single time I got hurt, and then I'd start crying, and then you tell me how if I stop crying, you'll buy me yogurt, because I was going through a yogurt phase, which to this day, you passed through Delamere to buy for me. And for 2 years straight, for lunch without fail, I had yogurt from Paul's Bakery. And then you knew that I loved sleeping on the couch, because for some reason, to this day, I still do that. I fall asleep on the couch to watch TV, and then you'd let me fall asleep, then you'd carry me to my bed until that age when it became a bit awkward, you having to carry me, because I'm sure mom was thinking, I don't get carried like that. So anyway, so it just had to stop. And you've always been there for me. The second I say I like something, it will never lack in my life, and it's the cutest thing, and I appreciate that. And then remember when the whole peer pressure thing started, and I'd be like, Lakini daddy Siji so and so has it, and then you'd tell me, no. Just because they have it does not become a rule that you should. And it's something I think I picked along the way, and I learned to not necessarily want something because somebody else has it. And you've always treated me like your little princess, me and Vanessa. Oh, and then that thing that like we'd sit on your lap, and then you do that thing with your legs, and I don't really understand what that joy in to us was, but me and Vanessa loved doing it. And to my second dad, because you were there the entire time, your brother came. Remember, you'd put your finger, then we'd, I was going through that, remember that phase for the Uzis? And you bought me Uzis all the time. Then he'd use his finger and put it like this while you're watching news. And then I'd show like long strings and then go to school and sell them. And then I'd tell you I didn't make any money so because I wanted to save my cash. Oh my God, Dad, you've always been there for me, and I absolutely love you. You're my superhero, and I pray to God I find a man like you in my life at some point. And I just wanted to say I love you and happy Father's Day. I get so teary-eyed about you, dear God. And I hope he keeps you for many, 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 many years. You are the best man ever, and I never want you to forget that. And I love you. Happy Father's Day. Oh my God, I get so teary about that. Oh, I remembered something. See, I got so emotional I couldn't finish. To this day, when I tell you I love you, you say thank you. And there's this one time, I think you forgot, but I caught you off guard, and you're like, I love you too. And then there was this awkward silence on the phone, like, did I just say that? Yes, I remember that. And you always say thank you, and this time I wanted to be the one to thank you. And I say thank you to all the dads out there who are just as nice. Happy Father's Day to all of you. Mwah.
True. Asante sana baba yangu, umenipa mafunzo ya ajabu. Kunifunza kweli ni tabu, nafanya kazi usiaibike. Haya utakata.
Okay.
So what I really remember, what my dad did for me that I feel was really special is that he really tried to take me to the best schools since primary school all the way to secondary school. So for that, like, I really appreciate that, and it made me the person that I am today. Yeah, so Daddy, I love you.
Nice. Man, my dad, like, he was a good math teacher to me, though that didn't end up really well, but he tried. And I remember, like, he was being very cross with me when I couldn't, like, really understand very simple math, but that was really cool. It kind of helped me. It kind of did help me a bit. And then as well, what I remember about my dad, he can be a bit shady, but really amazing. Though, like, he got me. He was the first person to get me those little Palito radios with like the aerial thing. Yeah, I remember it was beige in color, and I can't remember what it was called. Yeah, so with nice little earphones. So he just came home one day and was so happy to give it to me. I was just like, thanks. But yeah, but I was in school and it was much needed. So thank you, Dad. I love you. Oh, my dad is like the Phil Dunphy of our family. If you've ever watched Modern Family, looks like Phil Dunphy, talks like Phil Dunphy, behaves like Phil Dunphy. That's my dad. I love him.
Oh wow. I remember I used to go to church with my dad every Sunday morning when I was a kid, and then he used to give me like offering all the time. And
But you know it's low.
every time no. Like he used to give me offering, and I used to put it in the bag. Like I used to stand next to him, and then every time I walk with my dad on the streets to date, like if I come to town with him, he always has change in his pocket, and he always gives money to every beggar he meets. And so my father taught me how to give, and he taught me how to pray. And he told me that to give is to receive, and he's a very generous person also. And then also, he's polygamous, so he has taught me also to learn how to fix life. For that, I love you, Dad. You're amazing.
Yeah, I remember I was sick. I was in high school, and in high school, like, you're old enough to take care of yourself. And it was in the evening, and I called him and told him I'm not feeling well. In the evening with a lot of traffic, he was supposed to drive all the way to school to pick me up. What happened is he had car issues, and because there was a lot of traffic, he came on a motorbike, on a boda. He left his car where it was, and because there was a lot of traffic, he couldn't come, so he just had to take the boda. I felt so special, and thank you, Dad, for that. You just taught me the kind of relationship, the father-son relationship that I'm supposed to have with my son. I'll try as much as possible and understand them and just be there for them, like he's there for me. Yeah, thank you, Dad.
This Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day!
From South to Soul with love. Love
Yeah.
you, Daddy.
So the fondest memory I have of my dad growing up, and I don't think he thinks it's that important or that I would even remember, is every Sunday religiously, despite what was happening in the week or whatever, he'd always come get us from the house, because he never used to come and join us at church. So he'd wait for us to leave for church and he'd go play golf, and then he'd come home, get all of us from the house, and then we'd go out for lunch somewhere really epic that we've never been before. And it didn't matter what was happening that day, that evening, but we'd always pass by this little shop in Mombasa, because we grew up in Mombasa. There was the biggest candy store, and before we got out of the car, he'd give all of us like 300 shillings, and back then that was like a lot of money. So he'd give all of us like 300 bob to go buy candy, and he'd always have this last statement where he would say, "A sweetie for my sweeties." Yeah, so I love you, Dad. Thank you so much for that, and Happy Father's Day.
So one of the biggest things that my dad has done for me is I was a very stubborn kid, very, very stubborn, and I've had a couple of suspensions, and that was not quite good, and every time I would get a suspension, like, that would end up with me being sent home, and I had to come with a roll of barbed wires and all this other crazy things. And every time I would be sent home, he would take me back to school after 2 weeks. And I think that was a very big highlight for me, because it showed a sense of responsibility, and I really appreciate that about him. And as well as just doing random things for us, as well, like showing me how to do different things and how to even become a man with his actions. And I'm not confident enough of getting out of the house when there's burglars in the house, but I think I would say that Dad, you have been one of the greatest people that have inspired who I am today, and I really love you. And I have told him I love him before, and he said okay, but I do love you, Dad, and Happy Father's Day. Big Happy Father's Day.
I want to say thank you to all my friends for coming together to help me do this video, because my father always says every single Mother's Day I go in, out, and above my way to write posts for my mom, do things for my mom, and he's like, whenever it's Father's Day, I just get a phone call. So I told him I'm going to do something for you that I've never done for mom before, so mom, don't be jealous, I'm explaining now. And I hope this feels special to you, because I am going to make sure you watch this. I don't know how. So I want to say thank you, Daddy, for everything that you've done. I am your biggest fan now and always. And I remembered something again, which I've been doing this entire time. You taught me how to do everything myself. I fix everything myself. When my phone gets spoiled, I'm going to get that small screwdriver that you used to have so many of, and then I'll try fix it. If anything goes wrong in the house, I'm there with the screwdriver already. You are such a do-it-yourself dad. We didn't even have a guy for anything. Did we even have a plumber? You used to do everything. And I love you, and you'll always be my superhero. And to all the dads out there, once again, Happy Father's Day. And thank you to all my friends who came to do this. And hashtag Dad, I remember. Join in the movement. Thank you. Bye-bye. I hope this was really emotional for you and brought at least a tear.